Good morning. I thought I'd take this time to share with you my new journey in diabetes. By means of introduction, my name is Marvin, and I'm one of the last of the boomer generation. And 2 months ago today, I was diagnosed with diabetes type 2. At that time, I weighed 224 pounds, and as of today, I've dropped 40 pounds off, and I'm shooting to a new goal anywhere between 160 pounds and 175 pounds. Some of my friends thought it'd be appropriate for me to share with everybody how I've arrived at 40 pounds of weight loss in 2 months. By means of further introduction, I have to acknowledge that I'm a Christian, and years and years ago, while I was in college, I discovered and came across Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11 in the scriptures, which says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for peace and not for calamity, plans to give you a future and a hope." As a result, even though I was not pleased with the diagnosis of diabetes, I've had peace about what I've needed to do, and it's helped in this journey to lose weight and get healthy again. So that day, as I left the doctor's office, I did some things, basically what people would say is cold turkey. For starters, I immediately cut out lattes, and I love lattes. But over time, I believe God was preparing me, because I really wasn't happy about drinking them all the time. They seemed too sweet, too rich. I didn't want to cut back, but I knew I should. And so I was buying them out of habit rather than necessity. And I also had learned that years ago I was told to listen more, or I needed to listen more, and it doesn't always come across, but I do listen more, and I file things away that I think might become useful later on, and so on and so forth. And so one of the things that I had heard was that artificial sweeteners weren't any better, and that could be worse for people trying to lose weight, because they didn't lose any weight while they were drinking the diet pop and things like that. So I determined right away that, along with the medication that the doctor placed me on, that I would have no more lattes, either sugar-free or otherwise, until I reached my weight goals or got into what they would call pre-diabetes. I'll always have the diagnosis of diabetes, but I would be able to add some things back into my diet if I could get down and I could get off the meds and so on and so forth. So I decided that I would set those aside abruptly, and with a goal that someday I could treat myself with one as a reward for my hard work. Ironically, I have not craved one ever since. The same goes for pop. I have not had a pop of any way, shape, or form since Christmas Day, nor have I had any sweet tea, and I love sweet tea with lemon, but I did away with that. I also love bagels and donuts, and I have not had any of those other than a mini bagel with my breakfast from time to time, because the dietitian that I'm working with said I needed to have some more carbs in my diet to help my body to process glucose better. And the journey began, and I did listen, and people told me that I should have portions the size of my fist, nothing bigger, and so on and so forth. And I cut out everything. I started looking, instead of focusing on what I couldn't have, I focused on what I could. And I love ketchup on everything. And so I went to sugar-free ketchup, and most of them had artificial sweetener. Um, the Heinz has sucralose, which is one of the lesser evil ones. And so I bought a bottle of Heinz, and boy, it doesn't taste like ketchup, but it's better than nothing. And so on rare occasion, I have some ketchup, but I don't think I've had ketchup 6 times in 2 months. So that ketchup's lasting quite a while. Um, I also got salad dressing that was sugar free or low sugar, low carb, and all that. And that's helped as well. However, getting back to the medication, the doctor put me on Mounjaro and metformin. Metformin was a twice a day pill, and Mounjaro was a once a week injection. And right out of the gate, I started having issues with burping sulfuric taste, kind of like if you drink mineral water over in Hot Springs, Montana, just kind of yucky taste. And things weren't going real well, and the doctor's nurse called after a week or so to check up on me, and I told her, and they took me off of the metformin. But my symptoms didn't improve, they got worse. And my stomach quit digesting food. These injections are supposed to slow the stomach from emptying, not stop it from emptying, but on me, they stopped it. And it got so bad that I started getting violently ill every 2 to 3 days because my food wasn't digesting. And after the second bout, I went home from work for lunch one day, and I was so sick I couldn't eat. And while I was deathly ill in the bathroom, my wife called my doctor, and they said I should stop the injection and go back to the metformin. And I did, and things evened out. My weight loss went from the one time I got ill, I lost 4 pounds overnight, but and then consistently I was losing 2 pounds a day on it. But basically after I got off of the Mounjaro and just metformin, that weight loss slowed to a pound a day for a while, and then lately it's taken me 2 or 3 days to lose a pound. I might lose half a pound here, and I might gain a day or go back and forth a little bit, but I've consistently dropped weight to where in 2 months, shy of 2 months, actually 1 day shy, I actually beat the goal by a day, I've lost 40 pounds. I found things that I could have. For example, I have a little tangerine on my desk for lunch, and I can have 2 tangerines a day for a snack. But if I eat an entire orange at any one time, it shoots my glucose levels up. So I can't have a whole orange, but I can have a tangerine. And so I've been getting a bag of tangerines and having 1 to 2 a day as a treat, and or a supplement to my lunch, and that's been working real well. I've also increased my water intake considerably, not nearly enough, but considerably. And I installed a water cooler in my office at work so that I can easily get a glass of water throughout the day. And the weight has continued to drop. I can't say again enough how much God has blessed me on this journey, but I want to encourage those of you that are struggling with weight loss to cut out sugar, cut out artificial sweeteners. Try to do it without having to go on the medication. The medication is not good for you. Yeah, it preserves your life and helps that way if it's necessary, but if you can stop before you get to that point, before you have that label on you, it'll affect you for the rest of your life. It might affect how able you are to get insurance or life insurance for your family. So you want to do what you can to be proactive. One barrier that I keep stumbling upon is that because of the intensity of my job, I get a lot of exercise at work. I can average over 16,000 steps a day and they don't count. The reason being is that my body's used to that. And so they do not count. And that is frustrating. I can do different things throughout the day in hopes of boosting my energy levels or weight loss goals or whatever you want to count it. And I'm told they don't count because my body's used to it. I have to do more and more. So I need to walk an extra 30 minutes after work, and I need to do X, Y, and Z. And I've struggled with that. But exercise is important. And in the weight loss realm of things, if you aren't careful and if you don't include exercise, you will lose your muscle tone instead of just fat. And you don't want to lose muscle. So I encourage you also in the journey to keep active, do some exercise. I'm excited to think that we have 3 or 4 different walking paths throughout our town, and this spring, as weather improves, I plan to get out on them. And I encourage you to do the same wherever you are. But remember, fist-sized portions. I was told the other day that if I get a steak, I can still have steak. It's better to order the leaner cuts, but I need to have a steak about the size of the palm of my hand, which is about 5 or 6 ounces. Boy, I love steak. I would love to have a big 12-ounce juicy steak with stuffed baked potato and some veggies and things like that. Well, I can still have them in moderation. In fact, I got to treat myself Saturday down at Texas Roadhouse, and I got a 6-ounce sirloin and a stuffed baked potato. But I also blew it because I had one of their complimentary dinner rolls with honey butter. And I chose corn for my other entree when I should have chose a green vegetable. Corn has more carbs. Speaking of carbs, I've switched to whole wheat, and I've also switched to sourdough. Ironically enough, there's fewer carbs in some of the loaves of whole wheat bread than there is in sourdough. But I love sourdough toast. Now I'm looking at a treat option to go with a slice of toast, in that I'm going to try some of the sugar-free Smucker's jellies, even though they have a little sucralose. Because when we go out to eat at a restaurant and I order an omelet, instead of eating both slices of toast that they cut in halves and butter for you and all the hash browns, I'm eating half a cup of the hash browns, and I've been eating the toast plain. Now I think I might bring my own jar of jam and have a little bit of jam with my 1 slice of toast. But I've gone from eating everything on my plate on that to half a cup of hash browns, all my omelet, and 1 slice of toast. And it's helped. And it's kept me on track to lose weight, because I haven't focused on what I can't have, but instead I'm focusing on what I can. And I encourage you to do that. Focus on what you can. But meanwhile, I don't have it all under control. And like the Apostle Paul said in Philippians chapter 3, verses 12 through 14, he says, "Not that I have already obtained all this or have already arrived at my goal, but I press on to take hold of that for which Christ Jesus took hold of me. Brothers and sisters, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it, but one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining towards what is ahead, I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus." And I'm pressing on. I'm pressing on to lose more weight. I'm pressing on to feel better. I'm pressing on to get more exercise. And I haven't reached that. I haven't attained it. I'm not perfect. I mess up. Some days I go through the food cravings like nobody's business. But I press on. And I don't keep things around the house that I can't have. At the same token, I do have a bag of candy stashed away somewhere, but I have not taken one single bite of it. And the reason is that I've made the choice to keep it out of my system because I want to be healthy, instead of somebody else saying, "You can't have that." And it pays off because I know it's there, but I have made the choice not to have it. And eventually I'll give it to the grandkids or something, but meanwhile, I press on. You know, Philippians also says, let me see, I can do all things through Christ, which gives me strength. And so this journey, and it's a journey, it's not just a marathon, it's one of those ultra marathons. But I know that with God at my back or by my side, because he's really beside me and in me and throughout, that I can do this. And I hope to have many, many more years of good health. I want to enjoy my retirement when the time comes. And I want to also be able to spend time with my grandkids and my kids and see their accomplishments instead of going to an early grave. I hope this helps you, and I just put it out there on the table for you. Have a great day. Talk to you later.